Hello, everyone. Welcome to our quick chat training today on how to better host coach for higher sales in your parties. I'm Crystal Jackson, blessing to be the executive leader of Making Waves, and excited to be on here with some lovely faces today as we kind of chat through some ideas and hope those that are listening to the playback find value in it as well. So we're going to talk a few different ideas and kind of pull from, I know I mentioned on the group page that Stephanie Meyerly and I discussed some things yesterday, and I really just have to rant and rave about her. And looky there, speaking of the devil, there's Miss Stephanie right there. So, I was just your ears totally must have been burning. But we chatted about some things yesterday on what she's doing with host coaching and how it's really helping her. Because if you saw in my post, Miss, I have over 8,000 in sales this month, clearly has some things figured out. So I am always looking to pull ideas from different people that are on the team, and early congratulations to Miss Stephanie working on promoting this month. So with that in mind, the main thing about host coaching, the number one key thing is you are building a relationship with this person. So this is, I mean, it may seem like the least important when you're thinking logistics and stuff, but it's actually number one. I mean, you'll hear over and over that Pampered Chef is a relationship business, and that's whether it's between us as consultant, or if it's consultant to guest, or consultant to host. Your relationships are so critical. And I liked what Stephanie said yesterday when we were talking, that she said, treat it like a normal conversation with your host and act like you already know them. And when she said that, it was very eye-opening to me, because I think sometimes we try and be, super professional, or only talk about the party stuff, or only talk about host rewards, and not really get to know them as an individual. And that is really helpful, because you're just building a relationship with this person during their party, if you didn't already have a great one from the party you met them on. And then your hosts, a lot of times, are the ones that are going to join your team. And so it's that relationship that we'll have people say all the time, like, I joined Pampered Chef because of you. Because I liked you, I liked what you shared, or I liked what Pampered Chef has done for you, and I want the same thing. So I am spending a little bit of time on this, but I think if more time was spent on the relationship building, we would have better results. And along with the relationship is the amount of communication that we have with them. It is rare that a host is going to come and say, my consultant communicated with me too much. It's actually the opposite. Home office has surveyed hosts, and what they have said as kind of a complaint is, my consultant did not communicate with me enough. So when you think about your communication with your host, would you think about it to yourself and say, oh, I am communicating with my host every single day. I'm letting them know updates, encouraging them, talking about what they're doing well, talking about giving tips? Or do you throw your host in the party and you connect with them once and then again at the end, and just expect them to know what to do throughout? Something I heard years ago that's incredibly helpful is, imagine that you got in a car to go on a road trip. Would you get in the car without a map? I mean, now, of course, we have our phones, so we have Google right there at our fingertips constantly. But would you do it without a Google map? No. You have to know where to go on a trip. And the same goes for our hosts. They have to know what to do, and you give them that roadmap. So if you're not telling them what to do, they have no idea what they're doing. Every once in a while, we'll get, a lucky host who just is like on their own doing all of these amazing things. Has anybody had that? You're like, oh my gosh, totally rocks. Yeah. And it's probably all of you guys, because you're now a consultant. And so you are the rock star host, and you're now on this side and have the ability to help other people. So a couple of tips from Stephanie was, she's in contact with her host, not just daily, but multiple times a day, checking in with them. And this is all individual checking in. It's not part of, a group host coaching, which I currently do a group host coaching, but she does it individually with each of them. And same thing, like has a script that she uses, but it's just done on an individual basis. So whatever your preference is on that, mine is done in a group, but then I'm chatting with the host individually. So I may send them all the same tip in one group that I want them to post on their party for that day, and then I chat with them separately. So whichever way you find works best for you. Main thing is that you are communicating with them. So this could be touching base for the daily contact of, can you reach out to someone, post on your wall. Let's talk about, a bookings challenge. I connect with my host to help me get bookings, and then they get a gift from me. So that's something that I do. And then the follow-up for orders towards the end. And this one I really, really love that Stephanie's doing. And I actually didn't know you were going to be on the call today. I actually just would have made you talk. If you didn't even know that, I totally would have made you just talk today. But sharing the rewards that the host is currently at. But the bonus on this is how far are you from the next level, and what do you get at the next level? So you are giving them that little carrot for what happens next, what's available to them if they work just a little bit harder. So not just where they're at, but where they're going next. So I love, love, love that. All right, so this one, you're gonna love persistence. Who feels like they are persistent?
Not me.
Stephanie is, because we talked about it. So anybody else feel like they're persistent?
I think I'm getting there.
Yes, you are, Miss Della. I'm so proud of you. But this is a key thing in the business. Persistent and consistent. You can't just give up when you don't hear back from someone immediately. We talk about this over and over. I know that I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but there's a reason, because after you hear it so many times, you finally realize it really is true. And people are just busy. And so a lot of times they won't see the things that we send them the first time, or if your host sends something out, or, my party's not going exactly how I want it to at this moment early on. Do we just give up? No, we're persistent, and we keep finding new ways to interact with that party and pull people in, get the host engaged, all that good stuff. Because if you're not persistent, it's not going to work. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't tell people it's all rainbows and sunshine every day. You do have to work to get the results you want, but is it worth it?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You just got to stay on it. So speaking of staying on it, communication in your virtual parties. Do you guys feel like I communicate pretty well, or I should probably be in my parties more often, or I don't get in my parties? I want to hear a couple of people tell me what you do.
There's been a few times where I noticed I haven't been.
Okay.
So I'm trying to work on that. I've got two going right now, and every evening I'm going home and popping in and commenting and tagging and all that.
Good. Yeah. Who else?
I'm just getting started, but I definitely check into my parties fairly regularly and comment and try and tag people. And I'm trying to incorporate one new thing during each party because I'm only on my 6th party. So I just started last month. But
yes.
So I feel like I'm fairly present, but this host coaching is what I need to get down.
Okay, good. Because they go hand in hand. Being present and host coaching. Okay, who else?
I feel like I'm in my parties a good bit, but my parties lately, it's more like I'm doing the work that my host is not. So I'm trying to tag their guests and trying to get people to comment. It's like pulling teeth to get them to comment. So I'm like, I'm in there a bunch, but there's not a whole lot of feedback going on. I think that's it, in part due to my host coaching. So I'm excited for this call for this reason.
Yes, and getting that host connected to you and liking you and being part of the group, and also, helping them understand the reason for it.
Gotcha.
Like I compare it to an in-home party. Like, Heather, you wouldn't invite people over to your house and go in the restroom all night long and ignore them. Same thing goes for a virtual party. You don't invite them to a party and go hide in the restroom. I need you to participate.
Gotcha.
So I like to be funny in what I do, but share the point of it at the same time versus like, hey, Heather, I need you to go comment your party. You're like, well, I'm busy. I don't have time for that. Whereas you explain why you're asking them to do something, they're more likely to do it.
That makes sense. Yep.
All right, Miss Stephanie, what about you?
We talked about this a little yesterday, but I'm probably in there a lot more than some. Constantly. I work from home already, so I'm like popping back and forth between the two. And so and one of the things I had mentioned yesterday too was sometimes I get worried about like whether if a customer has a question, I want to make sure I can answer that for them, because they might be on Facebook today, but they may be off now for a day or so, and then the party might close, and so they may not ever see that. And so I try to be responsive as soon as I can. So, I mean, I'm probably in there, at least, for 5 minutes, every couple of hours, if not sooner. So. Awesome.
So there's not one perfect way. And we also all have to realize that we have different lives. Some of us working full time can't pop in every couple of hours, but maybe you make it a priority. You get to work 5 to 10 minutes early, and in your car, you pop in really fast before you go in, or you wake up first thing in the morning, or on your lunch hour, or if you take an afternoon break. As soon as you get home, there are definite ways that even if you're listening to Stephanie right now saying, well, I don't work from home, so I can't do what Stephanie does. So no, you can't maybe do exactly what she does, but you can take it as a baseline and say, okay, how can I implement something similar into my lifestyle? I will go to pick up my daughter from either piano or her art drawing classes. I will get there a little early with the intention that I'm going to sit in my car on purpose and answer some messages. So it's being very intentional about what you do. And I think that's the biggest part that people miss is host coaching does not happen by accident. It doesn't. You may stumble upon a booking by accident. Like it just happens. You got super lucky. Like I didn't really try all that hard and I got a booking. I'm so excited. Host coaching is not like that. It doesn't just happen. We have to have a plan and a process that we follow to be able to execute and know what we're doing so that the host knows what they're doing. Obviously, it starts with us and kind of doing that. So for me, I might be in a similar situation that some of y'all are. You're like, how do I start doing host coaching? Well, I'm similar. How do I start doing host coaching on Squee? So for me, like I'm looking at, here's the date of my Squee party. So then I back into my host coaching. So here's the date my Facebook party starts. Now let me back into what I need to do so that you're doing things in a timely manner leading up to the party. Does that make sense? Yes. Because it also doesn't just start the day your party starts beforehand, the moment they book a party. So for me, the moment somebody books a party, I have a hashtag in my phone that's saved. It's a hashtag party. And it automatically pops up and says, awesome, Dawn, I'm so excited to party with you next. Go ahead and start working on your wish list now. Do you want an actual packet with catalogs, or do you prefer to use just the interactive catalog? And to officially book your party, I need the following information. Here's my host form that you can quickly pop it into. So I have something ready to go. So even if I'm on the go when somebody books a party, all I have to do is respond hashtag party. It auto-populates all of that for me, and they fill in my host form so that when I pull up the host form and I'm ready to set up the party, I have all of my host information right there. So that host coaching starts immediately. And then has anybody looked at Steve Drapolsky's host coaching information I've posted on Making Waves?
I watched it this morning. It was awesome.
Good.
I took like 4
He is a
notes.
machine. I love him. He's my buddy. We have so much fun together, but he takes things very seriously. Systems, and I've been doing his system for quite a while. So I encourage you to. The thing that I need to add is as soon as someone books a party, put them in a party that was very successful and let them tell me what they found about that why do you think this host was very successful? And then put them in a party that didn't go so well. Okay, why do you think this one didn't go well? And then which one do you want to be? So that's something that I need to personally add. But his system, if you have not looked at it, I'm not going to spend time on Steve's system because it's already out there and available, but it is gold. He had $17,000 in sales last month. He's about to promote to a national executive director. The dude knows what he's talking about. So just FYI. All right. So let's see. Another thing when it comes to following up with people towards the end of the party for orders. Sometimes, let's see, we have parties where orders are coming in from the beginning, right? And then we have parties that it's the last day and I got nothing. Sound familiar?
Yes.
Exactly, because we end up with both. So for those that we don't have anything or those that have it, there are a couple of different ways that you can do it. Obviously, we want the host to individually message people because they're most likely to see things from their friends. So I use what I call a rule of 3. That again is on my text replacement document. If you search Making Waves for text replacement, you'll find my rule of 3 information out there. But basically, it's 3 different messages. I give them the exact wording. All they have to do is copy it and paste it and go send it to all their people. And I tell them 20 is great, but 30 is better. So I want you to reach out to, because again, you're creating expectations for people. So you don't just say like, hey, just send this out to some friends, because they'll send it out to 4. So you want to set the expectation that we're going for more people. I'll even sometimes screenshot the list of names that they've invited as well, so that they have it easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like, I have given it to you. All you have to do is do the message. So for me, the way I do it is personally, I'll go into the party and I'll go back and I'll tag every guest that's commented and just give a quick little spiel. It's from Steve, hey, Dawn, I just wanted to let you know today's the last day to order on Stephanie's party and for her to get credit. If you have any questions, please let me know. Here's my cell number and here's the link to the party. So I will go and I will find. So like if Heather was on the party and she only commented on one game, that is the one post or comment that I'm going to find and reply to her so she gets a notification. Now, Stephanie will go through and she private messages the guests so that there's that connection as well. So you have the option. It's up to you. Some people, if we do that welcome post at the beginning of the party or daily as you have new people joining and you write a post at the top, only available on the computer. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's only available on the computer. New members. You can go back to that post and post a reminder as well. So there's different options. You can do 1, 2, or all 3. It doesn't matter. But those are the options kind of to have. Does anybody have a different way that you're following up at the end? Do y'all follow up at the end, or do we need to create that?
I'm doing a couple of them. I just started the welcome message.
Good job. So, it is newer, so good job.
I've been personally sending the message toward the end of the party saying today's the last day to all the people who are part of it, and then sometimes a few people on the invited list, if I know them especially. Okay. But I haven't had my host do it, so I'm going to try that.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so, excuse me, again, consistent and persistent. So at the end, if you're not happy with where the party's at, being persistent, kind of, if sometimes the host is not going to do what we ask, let's be honest. It just is what it is. But that's where you can go in and message them individually, or you can tag them on the party. So the next thing that we wanted to talk about just a little bit were the actual party posts, not the full bulk of it, but some people were asking how long are parties. So obviously you get to make the decision. There are some that do 3 days, there's some that do 5, some that do 7. I think the main thing to know is the pre-party is really where you are gathering your audience. So I find a lot of times our scripts are very informative for pre-party, but they're not very fun. And so if you think about your pre-party, you know, is it telling about how the party's going to work? Is it going to, you know, just here's the guest special, here's what to expect. It's a lot. I've noticed a lot of times it's just information overload, and you may only have 24 hours to really snag people's attention. And let's be honest, that's not snagging anybody's attention. They don't care. They're not going to comment. They may see it, but they scroll right by. So Annette and I were talking, another director on our leadership team, and she has really gone heavy on the fun on her pre-party. And so, you know, like she's using the celebrity crush post so that you have them commenting. Because, you know, everybody loves these engagement posts. They are happy to tell you about who they have a current celebrity crush on. Which chore do you hate the most? That's a very popular one. People are happy to tell you what they hate to do. And then there's a fun one. If you could pick any food or restaurant, where would you go? So just a few ideas that you can sprinkle in that beginning if you're not already doing something. So maybe not necessarily another game, because we have games going throughout the party, but a way to get them engaged that's not just how do you know the host? Because yes, some people will comment on that, some people won't, but the engagements that are just like a super quick answer, even if you do things that are A, B, C, or D, sometimes those are even better because all a person has to type is A and they push enter. People are busy. They don't want to spend a long time on things until they're a little more invested. So those are the main things that I wanted to talk about today for host coaching, and really challenge all of you guys that are on here with us and those that are listening to the playback to take your next 30 days and say, you know what? I am going to do host coaching to the max. And that even starts with a phone call connection with your host. Up front, building the relationship, talking to them. If you ask Advanced Director Beverly Graham, her business completely turned around at the beginning of 2018 when she went from just messaging to having a phone call with every host before they had a party. Like, I'm not setting up your party till we talk. That type of intentionality, and her business completely blew up because she's building those relationships. And so many of her hosts, Stephanie being one of them, has joined the team, and a lot of it comes from those relationships. So I really encourage you to just give yourself that. I challenge myself for the next 30 days. See if you can prove Crystal wrong that host coaching is not that important. I did it. I'll be honest, 2 years into my business, I was like, okay, they keep talking about this host coaching thing. They keep saying how important it is. Fine. 30 days, I will see how amazing this host coaching thing is. And I'll be honest, I went into it eyes rolled. I'll be honest, I was like, I don't have time for this. I work a full-time job. I got a baby, blah, 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 blah. But into the 30 days, I looked back, and it was the best month I'd ever had with Pampered Chef. So I got to eat my words and experience the amazing results of host coaching. Because I'll be honest, host coaching is where you earn your paycheck. The party's where you pick it up. So you are earning your commission through host coaching, and the end of the party is just kind of where you're picking up the paycheck from the work that you've invested into it. So as we're kind of coming close to the end of our chat, what additional things do you have to say? Stephanie, did I miss anything that we covered yesterday? I want to hear a little bit of input from you guys before we close out.
I think you got most of it. I think that was good. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Ashley, you just jumped on with us at the end. I'm glad to see your face.
Yeah, I was listening over the phone. I switched over.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have anything to add as well to the end of our chat?
No, I know you were talking about interaction and stuff, and I've noticed I do a couple posts that are like, you start with the letter A and then they have to choose B, C. I've noticed a lot of interaction with that, and it keeps people coming back to the party, and then they're checking up on everything else. But that one, and then say you have carrots, and then you need the next word has to be start with an S. Those two posts are huge interaction posts for me.
Yeah.
But like I said, it keeps bringing them back, and then they're just checking in on everything else.
Yes, very, very smart, Ashley, because that's exactly what you want, is you want a reason to draw them in, and then they'll check other things out. And that's exactly what the engagement posts do. So if you guys use ScentShare, under ScentShare, excuse me, let me see if I can find it really quick and tell you the exact path. When you go into ScentShare and then you go under the saved folder area, under Manage Post, there is a folder that says ScentShare Ready-Made Graphics. So this is an additional resource for you for engagement posts. Some of you may know about it. I know a lot of people don't. So if you go under that, the very first folder is engagement post. And there is a plethora of different ones that are on here. I'd probably say there's 150 if I had to take a wild guess. Different seasons of the year. So you don't even have to create it. You can go grab it right off of there. And then there's also a starter kits folder, and there's a specific one for Pampered Chef. So you can go in there and check it out, and there's a lot of different posts that you can use in there as well if you're looking for some ideas outside of maybe what our team has shared or the virtual party Facebook group. So awesome. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed the call. It's nothing earth-shattering. There's no miracles or secret sauce. It really comes down to, like I started the call with, relationships. And I love Stephanie's comment yesterday when we talked, is you have to be persistent. You can't give up. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. I mean, there's kind of a reason that that's a saying. And so I am lovingly tough on people because I know what you're all capable of and what's available to you if you just don't give up. And I believe in you, and you can totally do this. So any other comments before we end our call today?
I'm good.
All right. Thanks, Della. She'll comment.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a great afternoon, and I will post the recording once it's downloaded.